a chef here in New York. I am doing a little cooking session for Spark Network. I'm here with Woldy Reyes, my new
Hi.
friend from like how many months ago did we meet? Maybe like two.
Probably, yeah. We're
Oh,
in the we're in our early lovebird stage.
something like that. Honeymoon stage.
Yes,
But
yes, yeah.
thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Woldy
thank you for having
has
me.
of course it's the he's the founder and the main and the I'm like, how would I say this? You are the face and the talent behind, I'm sorry, Woldy Cucina.
Yep, yep,
You're a chef here in New York. You're cooking from upstate today,
yep.
I believe.
hmm
And yeah, I want I've heard your story, but tell for those who are tuning in a little bit more about you. You're like
Yeah,
pop-ups everywhere, super talented.
thank you. Thank you so much for those praises. Yeah, I'm a chef. I'm a queer Filipino American chef. I'm currently in
Love it.
upstate New York. And it's actually a really nice, bright, sunny day here. And yeah, I mean, I started Woldy Cucina 5 years ago in 2016, and
Amazing.
primarily doing catering to a lot of creative industries like fashion, art,
Hmm.
and then when the pandemic happened, all of the events kind of like went away, and I pivoted into doing pop-ups. So, and I've been very grateful to sort of have the opportunity to share my food in various restaurants in New York City, Brooklyn, and as well as upstate. So the type of food that I share and cook is sort of like my take on Filipino food that I grew up eating and sort of giving it my own spin. And obviously, I'm in East Coast, so we have seasons. So I use a lot of like try to use a lot of like seasonal ingredients. So yeah, that's kind of who I am. I'm excited to share this recipe with you and Caro, and thanks for having me. And
I know. So
yeah,
we
so
have an ingredient today, right? That you
yep,
picked.
yep.
The,
Yes, I'm gonna
I'm
make
excited.
coconut cream kale. So it's basically a take
Okay.
on laing, but instead of taro leaves, I'm using Tuscan kale, which I already sort of like um, break into small
Shredded.
pieces. Yep,
Amazing.
shredded. And then in a cast iron skillet, I basically have already a half of a small onion that I basically already sauteed in coconut
Okay.
oil.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna, once it's sort of like sauteed for a couple of minutes, I'm gonna add in like, this is a lot of garlic. There's 5 pieces of garlic, but I love garlic a lot, and garlic
Yeah.
makes
So,
everything taste good.
and that's minced, right?
Yep, mince
Okay. Cool. Cool.
into a cast iron skillet pan. And then I
Sweet.
have like a lot of ginger,
Oh
minced fresh
yes, fresh
ginger.
ginger. Okay.
Yep. And then,
Amazing.
so this is a lot of, it's a Thai bird's chili.
Okay.
I'm using, in the book, it uses 3, which is, I think it's too much, but I love heat. So
Yeah.
basically, slice Thai chilies into the pan, and then you're just
Yep.
gonna let it sort of like saute on medium high heat and to
All
let it
right.
sort of perfume. And
Okay.
then once that goes, I'm gonna add in. So in the book, I added fish sauce, but I'm subbing it
Okay.
out for miso paste.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Sometimes I've done
so
like tamari, but good to know.
yeah, but this one, I think what it's gonna do, it's gonna thicken up even more.
Okay.
This is my first time doing it, but like I love miso and coconut together
Oh
for
yes. Oh
strange
yes.
reason,
Me
but
too.
I think this makes it a good combination. So you have that umami, salty taste that you would get from the fish sauce, but you know, this could be a sort of a vegan version of the one that I shared in Tasty Pride cookbook. So,
Very nice.
and
Very nice.
then I'm gonna add in the coconut milk. It's a really easy dish to make.
Yeah, I
You
love it. I know.
can't really mess
I'm
it
like,
up.
what am I cooking next? When can I make this? You started cooking, so I was like, I'm just gonna start mixing things. I'm
Yeah,
making
what are
something I've
you
never made
making?
before. I'm making this coconut snack cake. Not even sure what that
Yum.
means.
I
but
think
I
well,
definitely
what so
I'm
what's
like
in
I'm
it?
down for cake as a snack. So yeah, so true story or full disclosure or whatever
Uh-huh.
we want to say. But I definitely was like, what can I make with coconut milk? That is not something I've made all the
Uh-huh.
time. Largely because yeah, I was like, I want to try something new.
Yeah.
I thought about doing some kind of curry or whatever, but
Yeah.
this pairs perfectly. We eat kale and then we have cake. I think that works great.
Oh, great.
And so in this bowl right now, I have
Mhm.
very creamy coconut milk. And then
Yum.
what did I add? I added coconut oil.
Yum.
And then there was also a little bit of vanilla. And
Yum.
then I'm adding 2 eggs.
Yum.
And then just, continue to whisk. And
Yep.
then, the recipe itself calls for all purpose flour. But I was like,
Yep.
I'm not gluten free, but I always think it's fun to play around. And I'm in this beautiful apartment, belongs to a friend. She
Yep.
loves to cook. And I'm like, what flours we got in here? So I
Yeah.
found cornbread flour or cornmeal.
Yum. Yeah.
And I think I went with the gluten free blend. So we'll
Cool.
see how that works. And so I'm going to add that. Then instead of granulated sugar, she also had coconut sugar. So I was like, sweet.
Wow.
Then I have shredded coconut. And
Yum.
then, so those are all kind of different. And then I'm adding blueberries because I kind of love blueberries. I had a blueberry muffin the other day from this place, 7 Grain. Oh my God, not
Mm.
7 Grain. It's a bakery that's opening up in Williamsburg from this guy who had
Cool.
scratch bread, which was amazing. And so I was like, sweet. So then I don't know, what was like a baked good that you had as a child that you remember vividly?
My mom. So there's something that's similar to to a babinka,
Yeah.
which is traditionally it's enjoyed during the holidays. It's like a Filipino coconut rice cake. But my mom would make
Ooh.
cassava cake.
Oh
Um,
my God, I
so
love cassava cake.
so
Yeah.
basically, my mom is. I would watch her all the time make this cake for every family gathering, and she would just basically throw in no measuring whatsoever, and it always comes
Amazing.
out perfect. And
Love your mom already.
right. So she just based. So what made it interesting is she put the shredded cheese on top of the cake as it bakes. And I found that very weird, but it's found
Yeah,
a lot in Filipino baking. I think it just
I love
brings
that.
in the sort of salty factor. Wow, look at that! Look at that batter. Looks good. Um,
Ooh, let's see how it
and
tastes.
and and that was basically a cake that she would always make all the time, and it was always lying around in our kitchen table or in family gatherings. So yeah, I mean that was some of the baked goods that like she would make all the time. So right now
There's this, there's, yeah. Sorry, go
so
ahead.
I'm gonna add in just the miso paste, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna add in the coconut milk, and I'm just gonna whisk um, the miso so that it's fully incorporated into the coconut milk,
Yep.
and then
I
just
like this.
gonna
I
let
like
it
the sound effects.
the whisk hitting the cast iron skillet.
Yeah. Best noise
Yeah,
ever.
best noise ever. Sometimes it could be like not good for some people, but for me, it's just like, oh, it's just
You're like, oh, that's
whisking.
nice. Tell me, there was a couple of things we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
We don't have so much time, but
Hmm.
one of them was, talking about being a queer chef and
Yeah.
working with, and kind of joining forces with the queer community. We
Yep.
also
Yep.
wanted
Yep.
to talk a little bit about dating. We
Yeah.
even wanted to talk about dance parties.
Yes. I
So
mean, there's
you
a lot
you
of
take
topics
your
we were
pick.
like, yeah.
I know.
I obviously want to start with like, I think in the last couple of years, um, specifically in New York City, it's just sort of emergence of queer chefs that's bursting
Mhm.
into the food scene, and I think I wouldn't be where I am today with like a lot of the I think some of the people have sort of like tried to break down the barriers of what chefs could be, and traditionally it's predominantly like a male dominated industry, and I like
Yeah.
males, male in my
Yeah.
own team, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think it's kind of like seeing the diverse group of queer chefs that's in New York, um and especially the queer community. I did a pop-up at Ursula. My friend Chef Eric C, who got an amazing write-up yesterday from Eater on the
I
restaurant
saw
review.
that.
So
That's
I'm really
awesome.
excited for him. And so he's basically started this sort of queer pop-up takeout series, and basically highlighting and saving space and sharing space with other up and coming queer chefs. Like there's next week Dacha, which is two
Mm.
queer chefs. They're a couple, Trina and Jess Quinn, and they both have restaurant experience behind them, and basically doing Eastern European food,
Oh,
comforting
I love
Eastern
that.
European food, and which is really great. And then the following week, I think this chef called Tony, who is from the Bay Area, and Zacharias Gonzalez and
Oh,
Hender.
nice.
So all of these like amazing queer chefs, um, you know, just to see them and make food, I think this is an outlet to sort of express themselves and to nourish people and nourish within our
Yeah.
community. And I think it's important that we see a lot more visibility of different types of chefs out there. You know, aside from the other chefs that I mentioned, there's Devon Francis of Yardi, and then Kia Damon.
Hmm.
They're like also like queer chefs, and they have they're a lot visible, and I feel like it's important that we are seated at the table. I mean, the
I
table
kind of,
can grow bigger and bigger. And I think it's been really nice to see on the emergence of just the queer chefs and queer people serving nourishing queer
yeah,
people. So
yeah,
yeah, I think that's important to
yeah. I
see.
feel like
Uh,
this was a big year of the food industry, really representing more people across the board,
yep.
different cultures. Just like,
Mhm.
yeah, it took too long, frankly.
It took, yeah, I mean, I think it took, yeah,
But
it's now it's there is now that place that we can all be visible. We're not just hiding in the kitchen, hiding ourselves,
exactly,
but celebrate
exactly.
ourselves and show that what
Yes,
we're able to
yes,
do. Yeah, and dance
yes.
it into,
Also, Woldy has some dance moves. He has some dance, like
I
different
do,
dance
I
moves.
do. I mean,
It's like out of
listen,
control.
I I always dreamed of being a backup dancer for J Lo, Beyonce, Britney Spears.
Oh my
So
God,
I just
amazing.
I was just
This is
like,
your moment. This is your moment.
no, I mean I can't really dance right now, but you can probably see
I
it all
know.
on Instagram. Like do sort of
That's
like
true. That's true.
my boy band. It's just me, myself, and there's like a two other the same of me doing a
It's
choreography
so
of like
cool.
classic pop songs in the
It's
2000s.
at,
So
on that note, it's at Woldy Cucina with the
yes,
K,
yes. So
right?
it's not
So
just food.
follow,
It's
follow.
just all about also dancing and just I think we're in a pandemic. We haven't been on a dance floor, so I'm like, well, we're just gonna create one on online and just share it to the
Huh.
world. I mean, yeah.
I'm,
Before I forget completely about my lying, I'm just gonna add in the kale into the pan, and basically you just take the pan off the heat and just kind of like
mm-hmm.
toss it as if like a salad, and you don't need to put it back onto the heat source. So you're just gonna toss and then let the sort of coconut milk um, coat the greens, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's the greens just gonna wilt down. And then I would just season it really quickly with salt
Well,
and some black
salsito.
fresh,
Okay.
yep, and
Amazing.
then some black pepper, and then
Mm.
continue coating it. And what I like to do traditionally, you would eat this with steamed jasmine rice, but
Oh,
today
wow.
I'm switching out the rice for fonio, which is like
Oh,
a West African
fonio.
grain, and
I
it's
think I
from
have
the
some fonio.
yeah, I
I
love
have some
fonio.
fonio.
It's like
Where is it?
super quick grain that you
Yeah.
can cook. You just basically
Okay.
bring it into a boil, and then shut the heat off, and it's just like it's kind of like cooking couscous. Um,
Totally. But it's
so and
also
then
gluten free and it's a
it's
super
gluten
grain,
free.
no?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
super grain. I remember
Yeah.
they
It's
came
really
out
cool.
like a couple of years ago. I like saw it on some wholesale distributor. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, and then did
I know.
research. I'm
I
like,
love it.
wow, it's a good substitute for couscous, and because couscous is just it's like a small pasta. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like
I
basically
dig
like
it.
couscous. I totally
I
dig
dig
it.
it.
And then you just basically just take the cream kale and serve it on a plate. Look like that. I mean, you can't really see, but and then I
Very
would
nice.
do
I
is like
mean,
I would chop some cashews. I just like to add a little bit of crunch on top, and then some
okay.
scallions, and then just to sort of balance out the creaminess of the coconut milk, I have some fresh lime that you can squeeze over
Ooh,
top of
okay.
the bowl, and
Oh
then
my
you just
God, I'm
like eat it.
selling.
So speaking of dating, I
I love
wish I
that. I
could
love
feed this to
that.
somebody.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if I was like in a relationship, I would be feeding this to my boyfriend. But no, I don't have a boyfriend. I'm single in COVID times.
Oh,
And
everybody hear that? He's single.
I it's kind of tricky, like what are the sort of nobody really talks about like how you're supposed to be dating and in this type of world that we're living in, and which is obviously COVID, and trying to we kind of forgot about how the one night stand happened, but now like you can't really have one night stands. And I'm yearning for a
You're
one
like,
night
damn
stand,
it.
but like now
Oh
you
my
have to
God.
really invest
So
in the
good.
person, like I would go
You're
on
like,
the
I guess I
dating
have to
app.
get to know you now. Yeah.
You have to get to know you, so like to build
Oh,
trust. It's like, who have you been with, and because obviously like you don't want to put somebody else in danger, but you know uh you know I can only do so much alone, but like we're social
I
creatures,
know.
and
I
we're
know.
sexual beings, and you can do so much with with other things, but like I think just the human connection is like, mm, I, I'm yearning for it. So I mean, I might burst my bubble at some point, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot different. I mean, what is it like for you? I mean, how are you dating in this COVID time?
Yeah, there's the online, I guess
Yeah,
I'm always like, it's possible to meet someone anywhere. Sometimes get set
no,
up,
for sure.
but people definitely have their own rules. I think I was talking about with you was, pre-COVID times. I'd always say, like, very early on, be like, yeah, happy to cook for you. And then my friends were like, what
Yeah,
are you doing? What do you mean
no,
you're going to cook for this person? They're like, they should cook for you. But then,
yeah,
then I think people also are like, oh, I can't cook for a chef. And I'm like, dude, I'm so chill.
no.
So that is like, that's sort of like my navigating, I guess as a
Dating,
chef
yeah,
dating. But I
yeah.
always, I think it's like, I've actually had like a second date where someone's like, I'd love to cook for you. And he killed it. Shout out to him. Won't
Yes.
mention any
Okay.
names. So,
I,
I was like, he
I
made an amazing meal. I was like, damn.
Yeah. See, here's
Um,
the thing. If you're going to be dating a
no,
chef, the chef shouldn't be cooking for the other person.
ever.
Ever. I listen. I every now and then will be cook for you guys, but the last thing I want to do is like, no, you're the one cooking for me. And so if you
Yeah, it's
can,
a
if that
beautiful
other
thing.
person is a good cook, you great. We might critique it along the way, but like, that's kind of like we just can't help ourselves. But yeah, if somebody can cook the meals for you, that is always a plus. Wait, so what happened to your cake?
Oh my God. Well, sorry, it's in the oven.
Okay,
I'll be eating cake for lunch today. You'll be eating
cool.
delicious kale and fonio. I'm so
Yum.
jealous.
And thank you so much, Kara, for having me.
Thank
That
you,
was like a
love.
whirlwind.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
sweating bullets underneath here. All right,
Take off your
bye. Yeah,
shirt.
I will take off my shirt, but no, let's keep it G. All
Okay,
right,
okay. I'll talk to you later.
bye.
Bye, love.